Welcome everyone to the monthly Copywriting Clinic. The Copywriting Clinics are your chance to bring the kind of copywriting work that you're working on, get feedback on your projects, and also pick up some tips and tricks along the way. It's a super casual get together. We always have a ton of fun. So I'll go through my kind of little introduction. Primary rule, it's no big surprise, be excellent to each other, be respectful. Everyone is invited to contribute to this meeting. You're all invited to contribute feedback. Even if you have, little copywriting experience, you can still add value, share your insights. Worst thing that'll happen is, maybe someone will disagree with you. And I think that we can all handle that in this room. We can handle mature discussions. So that's really my primary rule. So we'll kind of take a little gauge of the room and see, kind of build an agenda for the day. I'll also kind of add a caveat that, tonight, so we're in season 8, season 8's kind of wrapping up, and tonight is a bonus lecture on copywriting. The timing's a little funny. I would have preferred to have that lecture happen first and then have the copywriting clinic the week after, but there was all sorts of schedule conflicts. Next week is the greater reset. It just wasn't going to work to try and move the date around. So yeah, so some, depending on who's in the room, some things we talk about today might be, new to you. Some things might not. We'll just kind of go with the flow here. Also, all of you are going to be getting, on Monday, you'll be getting an email in your inbox with promoting my copywriting course that I have created. I'll also send a link to that in the chat if it's something that anybody wants to take a look at. But that's a really great way, especially after you come out of autonomy, you kind of understand, the umbrella of what marketing is and how we, practice ethical marketing. Then, the copywriting course is definitely not the end all, but it's a really wonderful launch pad to get you started. And, I've got, some of my right-hand copywriters are copywriters that, knew nothing, went through the copywriting course, have been continuing on their learning journey. And there's some of my top people on my team that are working with me. I'd also love to, since we're talking about courses, Rawad is here, and Rawad has also created an SEO copywriting course. SEO is an area I have a little bit of knowledge of, definitely nowhere near anything to be able to teach it to anyone else. And so Rawad's created this awesome course that really complements what I've created. And Rawad is here today. Would you like to talk about your course a little bit, Rawad, if you're able?
Yeah, thank you, Kara. I was not ready for this, but thank you.
And we can wait if you need me to.
Yeah, it does complement definitely, because at the end of the day, you're trying to drive business, and you're doing that, especially in marketing, you're doing it mostly with content. The thing is with the SEO copywriting is most of the time you're focused on general information, like Wikipedia style type of content. However, you want also the goal is to drive people to transact with you. So having the sales copywriting skills is basically improves your likelihood of converting people and making more money. So yeah, they do complement each other.
Absolutely. I'll just add to that, so, and I guess I could start too with, if anyone on the call is unfamiliar with SEO, it stands for, search engine optimization. And so it's a way of writing copy so that your websites, your information, your pages are going to actually show up in search engines. And so there's so much to it, and it's definitely an area, like I said, I'm very, very novice when it comes to SEO. But what I love how our courses, Rawad, complement each other is that I think, you need to have the audience research, the understanding of your market to know what kind of things they're searching for. What kind of words and keywords are they using? And so by, doing the proper research, understanding, traditional copywriting, and then coupling it with SEO, that's a powerhouse right there.
Absolutely. You're trying with SEO, we're doing keyword research, and not only finding what people are searching for, but trying to understand the intent. So you have in the marketing funnel, you have 3 intents. general information, which informational, we call them queries. You have consideration, like they're looking for best of, so they're considering buying, and then you have the bottom of the funnel, which is they want to buy. So especially these last two, you need the sales copywriting skills to convert them. So how you can, how to say, convey the value or relay the value to them so that they make the purchase. And that's something that SEO copywriters lack most of the time. How to convert, how to transform that information into value proposition.
If I can say a couple things, just in the fact, kind of a testimonial in regard to Rawad's course, because I did go through Rawad's course, and I would say that there's a lot of, he offers a great deal of value, because in addition to talking about SEO, is also kind of this idea of creating blogs for your website, and how do you construct those things, finding out what are the questions about the topics that you're an expert in, and being able to answer those questions and put those out in front of people that you can essentially offer that value of your expertise to, I think is invaluable. So I mean, as far as a course that not only gives you an overview of what SEO is and why it's valuable, but also helps you really kind of fashion your expertise so it's actually answering the questions that people are asking out there.
Absolutely. And with Rawad talking about like funnels and stuff, I was just thinking about the 5 stages of awareness and how this could fit into that. And so, 5 stages of awareness, we start with someone who's completely unaware of problem, unaware of what the solution was, unaware of the product. Most of the time when you enter into a funnel, it's going to be at the problem aware stage. And so this is, an area where they know that there's a problem, but they don't know the solutions yet. They don't know the products that are offered. So what they need here is empathy. And this is where a big part of where like blogs can come into play too, is like, this is a great spot to be acknowledging the problems and challenges that people are facing. You can speak to them and hear. And then you start to move them along in the stage of awareness. So then you empathize with their problem, you gain that trust with them, and then you can start to let them know of solutions that are out there. So then they become aware of what the different offers are out there. They can start to, do research, make decision, and then they become aware of your product and become product aware. And at this point in the game, really, this is the time to like hit them with all the information that they need to know in order to make a decision. And we can't do that down over here. Down over here is too early. So, if they're, in this stage of just needing empathy, needing to know that you understand the problem that they're experiencing, if you're just pushing them with like, here's my product, here's my solution, buy this, you're going to break trust really, really easy, and it's going to scare them away. So, oftentimes even too, when we're doing our sales pages, we're leading someone from the top of the page. We'll start with problem aware, and we'll actually start moving people through the stages of awareness all on one sales page. That's a really effective sales page right there. And SEO comes into play with all of these stages. And I would say even especially when we get down into the most aware. It's so interesting because like it's the difference between when someone is searching on Google. I don't like to use Google. Searching on Start Page or searching on a search engine for a specific product. Those most often are people that are in these higher stages, like they're ready to buy. They just need to get that extra information, and they need to know. And this is where it's like really important to have SEO in place, because if that's the people that are going and they're ready to buy what you have to offer. But if your stuff isn't showing up in their search engines, you're missing out on a ton of opportunity right there. So I'll stop soapboxing if there's any other comments on that before we move on.
That's what you're trying to do in the sales call as well, most of the time. People think that they have a problem. I need help with marketing, but what exactly? And they're not aware of your services, what exactly you will do. So that's what you're trying to do in the sales call too. Yeah. It's part of marketing, is that you are okay, you have these problems, which maybe you are better at expressing them to them. Like, this is what actually, maybe you have time problem, maybe you're not charging enough pricing, etc. And then this is how I can help you. I have these services.
Yeah.
So that's the product aware. And then you have both worlds together. So you're matching the problem with the services that you have.
Awesome. Any burning questions or comments about what we've just been talking about, SEO, stages of awareness, before we kind of launch into clinic stuff?
I was just going to say that, and it's something I want to kind of touch on in the copywriting clinic today, is something I learned really on Wednesday. I went to an entrepreneur event, and the lady that was presenting was talking about positioning statements, and she's kind of like the queen of positioning statements. Like, she is just like unbelievable, but essentially what she's saying is being able to explain yourself and make your offer within 7 seconds. And so I did post like her format for the positioning statement in the event comment section. And then also I wanted in that same thing, there was a tech thing, and one of the things they offered was this H Super Tools website, which is all these free tools that have like SEO stuff and writing stuff, and just a ton of different tools, online tools that, there it is right there. So if anybody wants to check that out, I just heard about it on Wednesday, so I haven't had a real chance to look at all these different tools, but just going through them, I'm like, holy cow, I got to have this for the copywriting clinic. So it's out there.
Let's talk about that 7 minutes. I just wanted to get a nice clear snapshot up that we could look at, because I did see this, Michael, and I think this is really valuable. It's where my brain went to is one thing that Jill's the copywriter on my team, and she's in AUTONOMY. Most of you probably know her. She and I have been working on, so we're working with lots of course creators and content creators. And as we're writing their sales pages, we need to have some kind of baseline information from the course creator so that we can, do our job most effectively and efficiently. And so we've tried coming up with questionnaires, some of these different things to help them identify like this, what is your positioning statement? And it's funny because Jill and I were talking, I think even earlier this week, this actually looks really similar to something that that she came across. So maybe it's the same thing, but she was saying, just a really simple fill in the blanks. This is, and if you can't answer these questions, then you kind of need to go and do some thinking, you need to go and do some work. So I love this. I work with identifying your target audience is so important in marketing and copywriting. What is the outcome? What are the benefits? What are the things that they're going to get from engaging with what you're offering? In order to, more results, more benefits and outcomes, because, and the why. I love that. Very valuable.
Thank you, Michael. That's like the skeleton key for the beginning of your elevator pitch. So if you basically have, less than 2 minutes or way less than 2 minutes to be able to explain what you do, that is the first 7 seconds for sure.
Yeah, well, the lady that puts this together, her name is shoot. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Lois Creamer, and she wrote a book called Book More Business about 30 years ago. And essentially, she discovered it. I mean, before all the attention span stuff, like 30 years ago, and she started using this, and like her business just skyrocketed, because she was just able to explain to people really quickly, and she was getting in front of a lot of people and making presentations and just hammering on this positioning statement. She said it just rocketed her thing, and then of course she wrote a book about it, and she is like the only person in the National Speakers Association to do a presentation to every association in the entire world. So she's been to every speakers association in the entire world.
Wow.
Which means she's in high demand.
Mm-hmm. I just love that so much, though, because, especially when we're out and about, and you run into somebody on the street and you have 30 seconds to tell them what you have of value that you've been working on, you're super excited about, but you can't launch into a big long presentation spiel when you're on the street. So having, I was just talking to somebody about this just recently, about like creating different levels of their elevator pitch, and this is right up at the top of having a nice, concise, short, clear, and to the point summary of what you're offering, and then having layers to that, where then you can build off that. You can make them, a little bit bigger for different situations. And so really valuable. Thank you for sharing that, Michael. Now, I'd love to ask your guys' opinion on something before we go too much further. The new AI writing programs that have been coming out, I have mixed emotions about these things. These new programs that you tell this AI program what you need, and then, and it just spits out a whole email or a whole page. And obviously, as a writer, I kind of hiss at things like this. I can't help it. I could obviously see, value in it for certain things, but I'm still stand behind, I think copywriting needs a human touch, especially the more competitive that marketing gets, I think, and people are getting smarter and can sniff out when they're talking, when a real human is writing to them versus a robot. I think they can sniff this stuff out more and more. And so I don't know, I still think that copywriting needs a human touch. And I was just curious if anyone in the room has been like coming across these programs and has any opinions.
I have. Hi, Kara. Hi, guys. It's a bad hair day for me, so I had my camera off. I did. Briefly, I had access with that. Somebody in my mastermind shared with me, and we actually had a lot of fun because I got pretty into some nerdy stuff, asking some questions. What I noticed was, though, that there was some information conveniently left out that might lead you down a further path of being able to find more information that would lead you to not necessarily needing the AI. So I agree. We still need to add the personal touch. However, I found that it was fascinating that it was spitting out some stuff that I had already written earlier that day. Not verbatim, but close enough that it was kind of freaky for me. But there were missing components that didn't make it sound as personal. It wasn't my writing, right? So, like Rawad will say, and the person Joe in my mastermind would say, that you do need to reword it. You can use it as a reference, but it's good. You have to reword it for the language, for your audience, and also, in my opinion, from your heart. Because an AI doesn't have a heart, so it's not going to sense a lack of emotion and feeling in the text. So that's what I got on that.
That's a really good point. I could see it being a really great starting place, especially when you're like opening up a blank page and you're feeling just as blank on where to get started. I can definitely see the uses there, but definitely, needing to still implement that human touch. Rawad, I see your hand up.
Yeah, it's funny that's brought up. I think it aligns with what Richard, I saw his interview with Stephanie, but he said it before, that about assumptions. We're assuming that what this information is correct, and we need to do our due diligence and go and check where this information comes from. It's just a bot. It's just rephrasing what's already existing. And I know that we're aware that Google, this is where Google wants to go with. That's their vision, that they, instead of curating, let's say, call it this way, the other websites, they want to give you the information so you do not have to go elsewhere. You just assume that this is something to be trusted and this information is the right information.
Mm-hmm.
But AI can be helpful in terms of efficiency. Yeah, there are some tools that like you cannot distinguish. Even Google the other day said you can write the first they were very opposing to this idea, but now they're saying that they can identify when it is written by a robot to a great extent.
Mm-hmm.
But they few days ago, they said that if it's helpful and useful for the users, for the reader, then we will not punish these sites or these pages.
Yeah. Mm.
We're back to censoring again.
Yeah, so now it's okay because they have some stake in it. Like, this is what they want. We want you to get used to it so that we can start providing this information. But now we're digressing.
Well, they can use that too. If you post something that is informative, they can post arguments against it that are not logical at all, but it puts doubt, you know, sheds doubt on what you said, and then you get a big argument, and it's bad.
Jim, do I see a hand up?
Yes, I'll try to make this brief. I'm in a loud place, but my general opinion on the AI thing is AI, at least as we know it, is still derivative of human creativity. So I don't think it's really possible for it to have that creative spark yet, you know, until it reaches a point of really of self-conscious growth, then I don't see any way that it could really compete with what we do.
Yeah, I feel similar.
Yeah, I would just say it's all it is doing is compiling all the information and then selecting what either the algorithm says is the best answer, and that's not AI. I mean, that's not some kind of creative intelligence. It's just the compiling information and then selecting what's the best based on an algorithm that a human created. So I think there's a lot of misconception about what artificial intelligence is, and unfortunately, I think it's been way out overblown with the movies and stuff like that to make it sound like it's thinking on its own.
It's a tool, rewriting tool, you can call it, or paraphrasing tool. It's not an intelligence necessarily.
Cool. I had similar thoughts this week. I've been hearing everybody talking about these programs, and I've got it on my list to sign up for one of them and give it a try. But
I would like to share something because it happened this week where I don't remember the name of the program, but one of my coworkers sent it to me, and he was like, because I was asking, how do we configure something in this device? And he's like, well, I don't know, but I've been using this and you can ask. And he started asking, he started showing me. And honestly, it just makes people more lazy in a way that instead of looking for more information, because for example, he like showing to me, I was like, I was frustrated. I don't know. I just didn't like it. Right. It's not my thing. So I ended up going to the devices provider website, and I went to support, and I went through like the old ways, I guess, and I found other information that helped me in the end, but that thing was kind of narrowed down to just a few steps, let's say, just to configure that part, but also there's more to it. Anyway, so it's just to make people more lazy, really, in not learning. It's just to make dumping, if I said it right, dumping. I don't know how to say that word, I'm sorry. People more, right? Or, more, because you just get that quick answer, and it might even resolve the problem, it might not, right? But if you go to the actual instructions and the manual, you can see these other steps that you can take in order to make that part that you want to make it work, right? So yeah, and it's quite, I personally didn't like it. I can see the value when it's about writing or putting an idea out, And even my daughter was telling me about one where you kind of describe a picture and it kind of brings it for you. And to me, it's like, that's an idea that's not really probably, I don't know, she told me about it, where, yeah, and it brings like this photo for you, or like this idea that apparently is in your mind. But I don't think it will be in your mind. It's just that thing telling you that's how it is. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense on
Oh,
that.
you absolutely are.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, so that's sort of what I heard, but what I experienced with that particular automatic intelligence or artificial intelligence, it was crappy. I didn't like it.
Yeah, well, and it kind of like what you're saying,
Mhm.
kind of like echoes a little bit of what Rod was saying earlier as well, of like, it's like this assumption that whatever it spits out is truth and is the answer. And it's like, oh, don't bother going and researching. Here, we have the answer for you. And so much of
Yeah.
copywriting, and at least the way that I do it, involves tons of research. Like research is like the backbone of copywriting, research into your audience, into like what their challenges are. And like, you know, you're trying to understand humans. And I think that that takes a human to do personally.
Yeah.
Interesting. Cool. And by the way, hi, Agnieszka. I haven't even said hi to your lovely face since you hopped in here. So let's say hi.
Thank you. Hi. Olivia, are you coming to the Greater Reset? I know it's a random question, but she was just talking.
Yeah, no, not this year. I wanted to, but you never know. It's next week, right? Or this coming week, I think.
Next weekend.
Next weekend. I'll see. It's never too late.
Well,
But,
it is online also, so you can watch online.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah, we'll
That's not
see.
the point, Chris.
No,
I want to
because
give
I'm
her
in
a hug,
Mexico.
not like see her through the
I can go to
computer.
Morelia.
I can already do that.
I'm going to Bastrop, but well, a lot of people don't know they can do that.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I'll see if I can pop in for sure, you know.
Cool.
So I'd love to hear, let's get a temperature check of the room. Who brought stuff for us to look at today? Michael? Okay. I can't see everybody's faces across, so.
John said, yeah.
John, thank you.
We could take a look at my very first draft landing page and tear that up.
Cool.
Yeah, mine is I've got 4 positioning statements. So they're, you know, they're super brief, but I use different wording in each of them, and I thought it might be a useful exercise. So I don't necessarily need mine to go first, but if we got time.
Sure. Anyone else adding to our docket? Cool. All right, John and Taras, anyone have a time limit? Does anyone have a preference? Want to get theirs going first?
I would just say mine is just, I think mine is simple. I just have a couple of questions. So, you know, I don't need to go first, or I don't have a time limit either.
Okay. Well, why don't, since we were just talking about these positioning statements, Michael, why don't we start with that? Michael.
All right, I was going to copy and post it in the thing here, but just give me a second.
Is there a way you can, I don't know if you want to like share your screen or send something to me that I can share so we can all look together?
All right, I've just posted it in the thing, but it looks crazy. So maybe I'll just share a link.
Well, if that's something I can copy and paste into something else,
I'll be right back.
Okay. I think I got Michael. Sure that I've got this. Let's see here. Is this broken up correctly? I think it is.
Yeah, it looks right.
Okay. All right. Well, do you want to read these out since it's yours?
Sure. All right. So, yeah, so I work with select business people and entrepreneurs who want to provide immense value to their clients and community while doing little or no harm in order to change the environment around them in a superior way, because I strongly believe that the responsible people either choose ethical conduct, otherwise known as standards of excellence, and become the example for others, or our society falters into chaos, confusion, and unnecessary suffering. How's that for number one? Or do you want me to read all these? Or
yeah, read the second one.
Actually more.
Yeah, read the second one too.
I don't know if the second one is actually complete though.
Oh, it is not. Do you need to like repaste something in the chat, or we could just work on the first one? But
well, I pasted a link to the Google Doc. Maybe that would be.
Oh, cool! I didn't see that pop in. Blue.
All right, so this is just a little tidbit about why I got a blue background. Each month has a particular color that associates with I don't know, something to do with like the religious things that the ancient stuff. But January is blue, and so I just when I'm in January, I'm just doing my background in blue. So then when I'm looking at my stuff, if I see it's blue, then I know, hey, it's in January.
Cool.
I would suggest to add a lot of white to your blue so that it's more legible for your clients and people working with you. Like make it baby blue or something.
Well, I mean, if I'm sending it out to other people, then it's it's the typical white background.
You just did.
Just for myself. But what I did here is I just highlighted we've got the blank spots, and so then the bold areas are the the kind of the fill in the blank stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So my thought in regards to the copywriting clinic was just the bold words that I chose are obviously different. So like I work with, or in the third case I said I only work with. And then each of these things. So like that first slot for me is a choice between select business people and entrepreneurs, or just select entrepreneurs, depending if I want to, keep it really short, or I only work with the very best entrepreneurs, or, and I did choose, in other words, I assist select entrepreneurs. So maybe that's the, as far as anybody thoughts, which one sounds the best?
I have a question of just in regards with the positioning statement, which I love. Is it something where it follows you, like saying what your title is, like what your job title is? Because when I read this, to be honest, it's not completely clear to me exactly like what the role is.
Well, I mean, listening to her presentation, she explained that this statement is like, she did a lot of work on this, because like even the singular words, she was very specific about why she chose them, because she talked about why she chose work versus any other word, and she made it very clear. So like I don't like the word work myself, but that's as far as what her explanation was. It seems like she did a lot of time on it. She put a lot of time into understanding like what word works, and you know, so that was my point on that. So, but
I'm just thinking of if I was like out in conversation with somebody, if it would, you know, if it'd be like, you know, I'm this, or, you know, I'm a copywriter, I'm a coach, and I work with blah, 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 going in the positioning statement. That's my
yeah,
curious.
I think that's certainly a possibility. And yeah, I'm just using the template that she put forth. But any thoughts on, as far as the type of audience, what, you know, what speaks the best and is of those four?
So I work with select business people and entrepreneurs. I work with select entrepreneurs. I only work with the very best entrepreneurs, and I assist select entrepreneurs.
I think it depends on who you're addressing. I'm assuming that you are either speaking with them face to face, or they've emailed you, and something in their email will tell you which of these is best. Otherwise, you could use AI.
I'm curious about, like, so the very best entrepreneur, which is subjective, and I'm like, what would constitute the very best entrepreneurs?
Most self-motivated, or, you know.
I'm sorry.
I think part of the reason she uses the word work, Michael, is because, again, your goal in those 7 seconds is to have them ask you more questions. You're buying more time with them, right? Nobody can convey what they do in 7 seconds. That's preposterous. You can get a positioning statement where they can get an idea of what you do, but if you intrigue them enough, they'll be like, well, what do you do? How do you work? How do you what exactly do you do? So as long as you can back up that question and convey your value, then yeah, positioning statements are a great foot in the door, so to speak.
Well, I would say, just, you know, in general, I'm looking for people that are just like the same people we're looking for with autonomy. You know, we're looking for people that are entrepreneurial, number one, that, you know, like take responsibility for themselves. And it's certainly what I'm trying to convey in this little statement, is that, you know, I'm looking for people that want to make choices that other people probably don't make. And, you know, for a large part, what I'm talking about with select entrepreneurs is, number one, entrepreneurial people, you know, in the Western society are becoming less and less, you know, because a lot of small businesses are being, you know, eradicated at the moment. And for the most part, everybody's going on to a, you know, what do you call that? URI or UBI, whatever it is, kind of a format. And so I'm talking about the people that, you know, that understand freedom and you know, for the most part, understand voluntarism.
So is there something in there that you would want to, I mean, would you want to get a little bit more specific than, you know, with select entrepreneurs? I mean, more concise, but, you know, whether that's like, I don't know if that's like motivated entrepreneurs, ethical entrepreneurs, or like what, you know, I don't know what that word might be.
Yeah, well, I mean, just like speaking, like I do a entrepreneur class, or, you know, meeting with kind of typical business people on Wednesdays, and you know, just being able to introduce myself to a lot of those people, I got to sit there and think for a long time as to like, what should I say and what shouldn't I say? Because I was in a meeting the other day, and the lady was a business person that she has a shooting range, and kind of she's out of Idaho, and they do, you know, like wildlife hunting and marksmanship shooting, you know, and just like she was just struggling to, like, make her presentation without like saying, you know, because she's like, I'm in the kind of entertainment business. You know, she didn't want to say guns. She didn't want to say shooting. Like, and it was, I could just see how, you know, like how divided the environment is these days when it comes to, you know, trying to put out the words that, you know, that just to try and describe yourself and describe business. There's so many things that people have prejudgment and kind of stereotypical views on. It is a minefield out there. So I'm trying to be, you know, I am trying to appeal to entrepreneurs that are not just in the autonomy or not just, you know, but at least, you know, they have that kind of, they have the potential to be in autonomy, I guess I should say.
I just saw your thing and wrote a quick one for myself. And what I was thinking was, when you say I work with pregnant mothers, I added, who want to give birth without coercion in order to. So I'm trying to poke at what they are fearing, you know, or maybe they don't know that they should fear it, but that's what sets me apart. So maybe in your first, you know, when you say only work with, you can think about, you know, what would make them interested in the very first sentence. And that depends on who your audience is. You know? So I think you need probably 10 of these so that they're in your back pocket when you encounter somebody.
Yeah, that's probably true. There's like a kind of an inside the community, you know, statement, and then there's outside the community positioning statement. That's probably a little bit different.
This might be something that that Rowad's keyword thing would help with. You know?
Well, I would say more specificity of, like, you know, it's like, you know, provide immense value to their clients and community while doing little to no harm. But in what context? I guess there's context that I'm unclear of. And we can provide strong value propositions and projects, provide excellence in their value propositions and projects, take control through daily habits, practice, and projects. And so even with all four of those, I'm still a little unclear of exactly what your role is.
Yeah, well, I mean, here again is, you know, I mean, I think specifically my skill set is project management, but then I'm also, like, with the ethical emergence course, talking primarily about, you know, daily habits and practices and how those come about. So
maybe there's like something in there, and maybe, you know, obviously maybe you have different versions, but maybe there's something in there around who want to manage their projects efficiently, you know, well, doing little to no harm or something, but something where you're also fitting in, like, clear and straightforward what you're offering. You know, because then we get into the whys. And so in order to change the environment around them in a superior way, to offer higher value at lower cost, to provide exceptional value at the lowest cost in financial terms as well as societal, and in order to have a high quality of life. So these are, you know, yeah, very different things, but they're the why. And so the more specific that you can get to, you know, to the person or to you know, your target market, the better. And that's where, like, everybody in here has probably heard me say it at some point or another: clarity over cleverness. You know, and if you can accomplish both, that's the golden ticket. That's awesome. It's great when you can accomplish both things at once, but clarity first, so that there's no confusion, because you don't want someone to hear this or read this and still walk away unsure of what value you're offering.
Yeah.
Maybe you can think of what the person you're talking to, how they identify themselves. Because you want them to say, oh, that's me.
Yeah, you know, non-binary. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not myself.
like a nightmare from that last position with the fundraising guy. They talked about that in one of the meetings.
We'll just call the person a he or a she, and that'll eliminate them.
Yeah, well, I don't want any of those people.
Well, they're not ready for you.
And so let's look at the why. Because I strongly believe that the responsible people either choose ethical conduct, standards of excellence, and become the example for others, or our society falters into chaos, confusion, and unnecessary suffering. Because I strongly believe that responsible people have to provide the example of ethical conduct, standards of excellence, or we fail. Definitely. Because I believe in taking on the responsibility of being the example of ethical conduct, standards of excellence, and leading people to higher ground in this flood of crisis, chaos, and confusion. Because I strongly believe that people either choose to be responsible for their outcomes or they never achieve their potential. Ooh, I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. And I think that these, these whys, I think that like the why, that coming from the heart, that like value, those things that are inside you that you're communicating, I don't think that those necessarily need to change as long as the lead up is extra clear of what you're offering. So once they know what you're offering, and then then I have this big why. It's because, this is what I want to contribute to in the world. This is what I want to see in the world. These are big whys, which are great to communicate as long as it's clear up front, like what the context is.
All right. Well, I mean, so like the feedback that I got is like that last because was really the most powerful one.
For me personally, I gravitated towards that one the most. I am just one person in the room.
And then as far as the other areas, I probably need to do a little bit more, dialing in with the words to figure out exactly what I want to say.
Yeah.
But this is very helpful, and I hope it provides a good example for other people. And Chris, it sounded like you had a pretty decent one too. We might throw that up on the board, huh? Because I'd like everybody to know what you do.
Hey, Michael, I think that it's not about more words that you need to put in there or figure out what the words are. It's that you have to narrow your target market, because right now you're making these very general statements because you're not really narrowing your service or your offer for this particular thing. And that's not to say that you can't do both. I mean, I get paid for painting and I get paid for writing and I get paid for different things. But I don't go up to my painting guy and I go, well, you know what? I'm a really good sovereign body language teacher. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't come up. I talk about my grandfather who was a famous painter. I talk about things that helped me in that job. So just select your target audience for this particular piece of paper and speak just to them, not to all of your possibilities.
Yeah. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. So I think it's good, especially for those of us that do have different offers that we're putting out, having a different positioning statement for each one that's really hyper focused on who you're talking to.
So if I said I work with overachievers, do you feel like that would be more?
No, I think that would be like offending your audience. Because not more like, and you don't use the word overachiever as a compliment for the most part. Like it's usually used in sarcasm and in being condescending towards somebody. So you can't use that in a positive marketing message either. I mean, you can if you're trying to be contrary, but it's a risky move.
Maybe self-starters.
What about perfectionists? You could use a perfectionist instead of overachievers and they wouldn't have the same kind of negative stigma in it.
Or like entrepreneurs with a high attention to detail or something.
There you go. It's better even. I mean, yes, perfectionist still has some stigma, but I think it's not as...
I like to use self-governing because nobody knows what it means and it makes
That's why my workshop is called Sovereign Body Language.
Yes, exactly. It makes them curious right off the bat.
And so maybe, Michael, you have some versions of one of when you know you're speaking to more in like the freedom community, using specific language that they're going to pull into, like self-governing. I mean, that's definitely, you know, a term I think that people in autonomy would resonate with.
So like self-governing entrepreneurs, would that,
I have an idea.
sense,
I have an idea.
just self-governing people?
I support people in their journey towards self-governing.
Okay.
Because, you know, self-governing is not something you switch off like a switch. It's working through the programming and working through the patterns that hold you back. These habitual patterns that can really detract you from the real, your very important message, the reason you're born in this world, the reason you're here, the reason you're put on this planet.
So I mean, to some degree, those, but like the self-governing people, that's kind of what they want to do, isn't it? Though, don't they want to be? I guess they want to be independent, right?
Right.
But you need to ask them.
There's a lot of talk about the target. There's not a lot of talk about what you do. How do you do that for them? Or what do you bring to the table for them? What is your offer?
Yeah, well, I think that's, you know, probably the third one is the, maybe it's the fourth one. Yeah, the fourth one, take control through daily habits, practices, and projects. That's
so you take control of them? I'm confused.
What they want, who want to take control.
But, you know, the results that I provide, right, is by helping them take control through, you know, and maybe there's a better word, you know, through developing daily habits,
to provide methods, tools, and strategies, right? You provide methods, tools, and strategies.
Yeah.
I definitely think the last one is the most straightforward and clear, which is ironic when it's like the shortest one of them, right? Happens to also be the most clear. I would say, I think that this part could use a little bit of extra oomph, like to have a high quality of life. Is that the only thing that, you know, if they get these things, what else, you know, a little bit more specifically are they going to have? Right, a high quality of life. But when we're talking about entrepreneurs, their brain is going to go to their business. So if we're talking about entrepreneurs, it's about their projects, their businesses, their offers. So getting these things, what is that going to do for them in that context?
Yeah, well, I mean, there again, I think high quality of life is really you know, because I say that in lieu of, like, you know, making more money or being a millionaire. I definitely want to shift people's towards other values other than,
in order to,
you know, just making money.
run a successful business and have a higher quality of life. There could be something.
May I add a few comments?
Oh, of course.
Sure.
Yeah, I just wanted to, it's a bit more marketing talk. So the positioning statement is usually not shared with people. It's something internal. It's like a recipe for yourself. And where it comes from, it's like you have, the first thing you do is you're trying, Agnieszka pointed out the target audience. And that's what, we have the STP model in marketing, where you start with segmentation. Then you decide which segment you're gonna target, right? You can.
When you say STP, what's? Can you explain STP?
Segmentation, targeting, and positioning. And the positioning statement is just like a summary of who you're gonna target. You cannot use it as an elevator pitch, in my opinion, because when you go on a sales call, especially in services, you cannot say, I only work with this and that, because you don't know the person, who that person is. You're going to ask them a question to understand if they fit within your target audience, right? But you don't tell them I only work with the very best entrepreneurs, right? They will feel so. The position statement is not meant, I think, to be shared with people because you're judging them, right? You don't know who that person you're talking to. So it comes more in your marketing messages, which is more subtle.
I think
right?
I agree and I disagree. I think it kind of depends on like I think in this context, this kinds of positioning statement, I think you use both. I think it's good for internally, just for us with our offers to like really understand, summarize, who we're trying to help, what we offer, and why. I think something like this, especially if done well and clear and concise, like I said earlier, I think that if I'm out on the street and I run into somebody I haven't seen in a long time and I have, a few seconds to just describe to them what I'm doing these days, and I want to get that offer to them, this could be a way to communicate that.
Yeah, that's a mission statement, maybe. There's a slight difference. Positioning is that you're positioning your services, a specific service, to a specific, you're matching it with a specific audience that you've researched, you know a bit about them through your research, and then you're positioning yourself in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of this marketing plan usually.
Michael, just because you went through the training or the webinar, whatever it was, does this line up where Wad's saying of what you learned?
Sorry, come again.
I'm asking Michael a question.
Michael.
Yeah, well, I got like 2/3 of her own thing, and she says that her statement was, I work with experts and speakers who want to book more business, and in order to make more money, increase their influence, and not make big mistakes. And then I didn't get the last because
I wasn't sure if she talked about the use case for the positioning statement, and so I was just wondering if what she described, if that lines up with what Rawad was just describing as what he understands the positioning statement is.
Well, I would say that her thing was to basically be an advertise, to be something that you're speaking out to a lot of people. It's essentially, like your commercial, your 7-second commercial.
That's how I was understanding it too. And so I think that I think you both are right. Like I'm like, that's where, Rawad, I know that you're correct with like terminology and that like positioning statement and how it's traditionally looked at. And so I think what Michael experienced with this this little training was just a little bit different.
Yes, if
yeah,
no, definitely Rawad and Kara and Michael for sure. And positioning statements can be utilized as templates for multiple things. So in an elevator pitch, Rawad, the way that it would be used is I'm usually pitching to an investor. So I need that little short statement to let them know what this play is, who my target market is, and how I may or may not make them money in like 7 seconds, so that I hope that I intrigue them enough to say, oh, how do you plan on doing that? Or who are your partners? Or yeah, it's exactly.
Yeah.
Tell me,
you're
please.
talking to an investor. You're not talking to your client.
No, exactly. Yes. And also, yes, to your point, Rawad, yes, definitely internally. These are internal statements that help really, to Kara's point, clarify and really take away the confusion about what it is, who you are, the who, what, when, where, and how, and why. So yeah, no, this was good. Thank you.
Give us some good stuff to chew on, Michael. Thanks for bringing this today.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Before we move on, Michael, I'm just wondering if you want to share any extra clarity that you have around this, or if there's just more you want to share before we move on.
Well, I definitely got some input, so I'm certainly grateful for that. And I am going to probably make some changes, and more than likely it's going to sound something like the last statement is what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
In most cases.
Awesome.
But I do feel like you know, we've got an opportunity coming up with this, you know, where we're talking to a lot of people that are going to this, you know, the thing on Sunday, and, you know, being able to introduce ourselves and say it in like 7 seconds, like as we're doing like breakout rooms and stuff with people that might be interested in coming into autonomy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a perfect opportunity to use something like this.
That's a really good point. Absolutely. Awesome. All right. Let's see. Well, on my list next is John. Calling you out. Okay.
Hello there. So thank you very much for doing the positioning statement. I just wrote mine, and I have a 30-second elevator pitch now. So thank you for that. Anybody have any examples of about me statements, good about me statements that I can refer to? Because I'm also having trouble writing that one.
Examples. Agnieszka, anything off the top of your head coming in?
I might have one. Let me just check something here.
Cool. Like I just got done writing my own little about me section for my brand new website, but I don't know if that's, I need to probably get feedback on it first before I say if it's a really good example or not.
Did Carly drop out? But she
Carly had to go.
Okay.
Yeah, she had to leave.
I was going to mention that. Sorry, Michael.
Yeah, she was doing the what is it? Not the profiles, but the about me thing.
Bio. Yeah.
And she's pretty amazing at it. If you go look at what she's done for herself, and that's the hardest person you can ever imagine to write for. So, yeah, she has a way with words, and she's very good at it.
Okay. I'll private message her, but if you got something web pages I can go look at, it helps. It helped to have this template. I just posted my the position statement in there, and hey, it's easy when I got a template. So
So I have something I wrote about myself, right? And I'm not saying it's a good example, but I'm just saying it's an example of what I have. It's always the hardest to write about yourself, right?
It is. It's so hard.
So, what I did, I started my bio with a quote, like my own quote, because I wanted to be more direct, but I didn't want to be direct because it's supposed to be in the third person. So the quote above the bio is, "There's no more important task in this life than making your mind and body congruent. It helps you feel well seated within yourself, helps you communicate clearly with others, and be generally unfuckwithable." Right? So, and then I started about me with a unique combination of broad spectrum of skills, some brought along through generations of ancestors. Agnieszka will help you shine your true light. For more than a decade, Agnieszka has been studying and working to develop a deep understanding of human nature and the surrounding energies, both physical and otherwise, that influence your well-being and your ability to shine every day. And then, like, basically, it's all about this person, right? Through a deep study of a variety of coaching techniques and exploration of psychosomatic therapy and body-mind analysis. See, I'm talking about my education. Agnieszka has all the tools to help you shine today. You know what I mean? Like, it's talking about my experience, and then it turns it about them, to be about them, right?
As a story.
If you find yourself experiencing stuckness in your life, there may be energies that are affecting your ability to project your own reality. How are you creating your reality today? Are you living the life you want to live? Do you wake up energized and well-rested? Any of these challenges can be assisted by shining a light on how you've been managing the energy within your body.
So that's in your about me?
Yeah.
Wow.
And now I'm actually realizing that it's like the about me should be more about my body language thing than about the creation, whatever. So maybe it's not totally perfect or whatever, but whatever.
Oh, Oh, Van found Carly's. My goodness, that's long. Somebody want to read Carly's out loud?
Nice.
Let's see.
I'll read it out loud.
Yeah. Yeah.
About your instructor, course introduction. Carly Vernon's career began as an orthopedic muscular therapist, an autodidact with a passion for anatomy. Her specialized and unique treatments in myofascial mobilization had clients traveling distances to tend and heal from injury and surgery. Humbled and honored by this trust, and as a
Oh no.
I disappeared. I try not to use this computer because it does that. That's so crazy.
Yeah, we were at as a studied yogi, I think.
As a
Oh no, it's dead again.
Did it again, same spot.
Weird.
There must be something
It's-
there.
Exactly.
The
gonna-
FBI doesn't want us to know.
I'm just gonna keep it going at where
Yeah.
she left off. As a studied yogi, she ventured down a profound personal healing path, which included shamanic teachings, ceremonies, diets, and medicine. Fascinated by the microcosm of the foot, she studied the detailed musculoskeleton patterning of gait, followed up with craniosacral reflexology, an open doorway to the sensory system. These studies, now combined with her understanding of breathing pattern dysfunction, gave Carly a wealth of visual presentation of the condition of the inner space of the human in all of its elements. In 2021, Carly received certification as a health and life coach. Blending all these teachings, she called herself an authenticity coach. Carly shares how she sees the connection that the body has with the physical, emotional, and mental bindings of the past and the present. Her intention is to assist all willing hearts in obtaining liberation and embodying their true self, soul embodiment. You can expect some nerdy anatomy speak, coupled with winding stories of how things connect on the magical, mystical, and beautiful treasure map that is your body.
Oof, that's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Challenging to say.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, like there's some areas, if we're looking for areas of improvement, I think there's some of the areas in like her experience that she could connect it a little bit more with how, that helps her clients. But I think she did a pretty nice balanced job of communicating her experience, but also connecting it with how it's going to help people.
And
And
there's
we discussed-
positioning somehow,
Mm.
She's targeting like just by it already, you can already tell who the target audience would be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Interested in shamanic, whatever ceremonies and teachings, and towards the end as well. I don't know. That was my impression when I was hearing that.
As with most writing written just about by anyone, the last paragraph should be the first paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that always the case? Isn't that weird? It's always like that. You write the whole thing and then the last paragraph's the best.
Yeah, because it brings everything together. And so, we like always think automatically, oh, that's stuff that has to go at the end. We have to lead up to that. But no, you want to start with that stuff first, and then you can go more into the story.
Actually, you know what that reminds me of? I was watching this painting video and the guy said that he was painting a portrait, right? And he said, as long as you get the three values right, the lights, the darks, and the mediums, right? It'll look like the person, right? And then he wasn't trying to look at the person. He was just painting the different colors where they're supposed to be. And in the end, it looked like the person, right? So here, the last paragraph is her painting the different colors, right? She's not going into so much detail, she's just this is the overview of the whole thing, and it's actually the portrait that she needs to put front and center.
Yeah.
Wow, I'd love to watch that video, Agnesha.
It's one of my favorite watercolor instructors on YouTube's. I'll send you the link.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you.
Well, I'll go find it now.
And Taras, you have a nice voiceover voice. So if you're ever thinking of changing careers or a new career, you could easily do that.
Yeah, that's true. That
Awesome.
did sound pretty good.
Yeah, maybe I should just kind of chill up my aunt's place for a while and do some voiceovers. Take a
Maybe.
break from the software stuff.
Switch it up.
So just some questions on her about me. It seems kind of long to me. I would think that it would want to be shorter, but the length doesn't matter as long as it conveys information.
I mean, especially when you have an about page. I mean, typically on like your home page, you would have a smaller, like a summarized version. You know, so and then with a link to go to your about page, where if they want to, then they can go and learn more about you. So I would look at this as being her like about page copy.
I did a little bit of consulting work for a company, and you know, it was like 5 partners, and each of them had a bio, and they what they did is they took like their favorite authors kind of style of writing, and they wrote a story that was in kind of the word, like the genre of that type of writing of their like life story, and you know how they, you know, like what their specialty was. It was a super creative. I'm trying to find that. Unfortunately, one of the partners died, and so apparently the website is down. But I thought it was just really super creative, and very, you know, like that was kind of their thing. They were all about like being creative people.
Okay. So no web pages that you can point me to. Just a real quick summary of when you write in about me, you're just kind of trying to connect to the person. It would be for the parrot when you're writing your about me. Who is it?
Who's your audience, John?
People that want to be healed, that need help, that want to be healed.
I'm not sure of a specific, like I'd have to do some digging, like off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of even like a good example that you could build off of, or some article that kind of walks through it. And to be honest, I just don't have that off the top of my head right now.
Okay.
Yeah, but we could do some digging for sure.
John, what about looking up people that you respect and looking at what they've done? Like any healers that you look up to?
Well, you know, I'm not really sure what a good about me is and what's a terrible about me, so I don't have anything to go off of. You know, so if I could write something and it could be awful, and I don't know.
I don't necessarily think that it's something that needs tick boxes. I think it's how it makes you feel when you read it.
Okay.
What are the salient points that you want to bring forward to communicate in that short paragraph while you have your target audience's attention? Who are you? Why do I want to know you? Tell me some good things. I unfortunately can't really speak to this because when I had to do it for, you know, work, when you're in advertising, they have, you know, when you go to the company's website, everybody has an about me and you have your own page. And basically you have to write it yourself. You think like, wow, I have copywriters. Can you do that for me? They're like, yeah, no, I don't know you, right? You're like almost writing your resume. But for you, and if you're offering healing, people don't necessarily want to see your resume, right? They want to know that you care. To Kara's point, right? They know that there's a problem. You need to have that empathy there and show them that, you know, that you understand what their situations may be and what type of healing modality you offer and what you bring to the table. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's quite helpful, actually.
Yeah, ultimately connecting connecting your experience with how it can help them. And so it's like, even when you're like listing out, like thinking about your credentials or, your experience, how can you connect that with how that's going to help them?
Yes.
Okay, good. And that way, go away. All right, so now the next question I have is, when I was watching one of the videos, I don't remember which week it was, but it was about what to list on a web page. Sabri Subri was talking about, you want to list on the web page the pain and lead them from the pain into the direction they want to go. And I wasn't sure whether I should list the pain and lead them there, or start with where they want to go. And so I've got two different versions of my web page, and I don't really know which one to use. I can just post like a little paragraph and see which one what you guys think.
Well, and I'll actually can speak to this a little bit. Is you kind of want to do a bit of both. Your headline, so your hero section, your big headline, you can go in one of two directions to be most effective. And one is offering actually what Sabri would call a big promise headline, something that's going to tell them like what they're going to get, the big outcome of engaging with your service. You could use that headline in speaking to the pain or the problem. What I would actually suggest, though, and I would using like a problem focused headline, I think should be reserved more for like a sales page or a landing page. For a website, I would focus your first big headline on the outcome, what they're going to get, that big promise. Below that is where you're going to walk through a little bit of the pain. There's a really common copywriting formula, PAS, problem, agitation, solution. And so, yeah, acknowledging, why they're here, acknowledging that pain, that problem. You could do a little bit of agitating, expanding on that problem, and then positioning the solution. What's the solution?
And so while you're thinking about it, everything she said is correct, of course, because she's a genius. But also there's one thing that to remember is you want to meet the client where the client's at. So even when you're creating the description of the solution, create it in a way that doesn't make them feel like they've been left out and forgotten somewhere behind humanity. Like, oh, okay, here you are with this issue, and here's the ideal outcome that you have in your mind, right? I'm with you. I'm here with you with that issue and this outcome. Let's go to this outcome together. Let's take you from where you are to this outcome. Like, you don't want to sound too, everything is solved, everything is perfect, and this perfect people do this perfect thing with the perfect thing, because that might make them feel intimidated and not want to join you on your journey.
Like a partner on the path?
Yeah, partner. Yeah, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like in psychology or in coaching, there's this whole meet the client where the client's at. So if somebody's like really mad and angry, you can match their tone and be mad and angry with like, yeah, I understand why you're mad. You know, and you're kind of matching their tone. You're expressing the understanding, but you're matching their energy so that they can feel that they're at home with you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they calm down, your tone will also calm down with them so that they know that you're coming along the journey with them.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing, but one-sided, future guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, someday this man with this problem will come to this site and then he'll feel this way. Right.
Well, and this is where, and so there's like message matching is also another thing. So, it's kind of different when we're talking about a home page as opposed to a targeted landing page or a sales page. And so when you're doing something like a landing page or a sales page, it's really important at the top of the page to practice message matching, which means thinking about, okay, what did they have to click on to get here, to land on this page? If it was from, an email or an advertisement, either one of those things are probably speaking to some kind of a problem. They're, offering the hook so that they want the reader wants to click the button and go to the landing page. So it's really important that when they're reading this stuff and they get, oh, they see this thing and this, oh, they see me, this hooked me in. Now I want to click on this button. When they click that button, it's very important that the text that they read at the top reflects or matches what they just read, so that there's no confusion of where they're at. Like if you, are hooking something in where, like, oh, you have this problem, I see this problem, and then you go to this other page and you're talking about something completely different, then they're going to wonder, am I in the right place? So message matching in that context is very, very important. It's always a little bit different with home pages, because you're kind of like, it's almost like an online business card where it's like people are landing here and you're speaking to different personality types. You're accomplishing a lot of things on a homepage. And so I think that for home pages, I think it always depends on the industry, its target market, all of these things. But in a general sense, I think starting with like a big promise headline, focusing on the outcomes of why they're there, I think is effective. There's always exceptions to these rules. How you feeling, John?
Pretty good, thanks. Okay, I wrote a lot of stuff down, so I think that'll help a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, I spun myself into inaction because I'm like, I don't know what to do. So glad I can come here for some feedback, so I can at least move forward now.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Taras, what you got for us?
Hey, yeah, did my landing page get in the chat?
Oh, it probably did and probably got buried. Let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna go and paste it again.
Yeah.
Just kind of challenged with
oh, I think I found it. Oh, but there we go. Perfect. All right, get this up. Okay, so give us the little the context.
this is my very first attempt at making a landing page, so kind of I'm trying to figure out, like there's just like kind of a lot of areas that I'm passionate about, and it's like, okay, how do I offer an actual service here? So kind of what I'm doing in my day job is like working for a tech company and doing like this automation engineering, but I've got these other sort of passions, including finances and budgeting and all of that. And I think that this probably needs to be separated out into different things, because there's just too much going on with it. But I do like that I've got my like call to action there.
So who is your target market?
Yes. So again, like it could be sort of another tech company trying to do some business to business, get another job thing. But I think that should be a separate one. So let's see here. Yeah, so I think that there's kind of two different things here, probably three, right? So one of them is going to be automation for businesses. Another will be related to IT security and cryptocurrency. And then a third one would have to be the finance type of stuff.
Yeah, because you'll definitely, if you're speaking to different people, different challenges, you'll definitely want to segment your landing pages. And, I've even seen things where, the initial parent landing page gives them the options of where to go, depending on your situation. Like, why are you here? Click the appropriate button, which is then going to take you to your appropriate landing page. So that can be an effective strategy. But definitely separating them out will be helpful for you. Because I imagine these are pretty different audiences of for these different things. Like when you got like business owners, you have like who would be your ideal for finances and banking.
Yeah, and I think that in that case, it would probably be another person, and I'd probably be aiming to do some basic guidance and then send them over to Lisa Manfredi and her wealth battle thing, because I think they have something good set up for that.
But these are definitely people wanting financial freedom, financial independence, these kinds of things. And so even just identifying that will be able to help you in shaping your verbiage for that one.
Taras, I'm just curious. You go through the whole what's that halo strategy exercise?
Right. I've looked at that. I haven't completed it. What I remember.
That'll be really helpful for you, especially with coming up with like messaging ideas. Like the halo strategy is so wonderful for like a couple different reasons. I mean, it's like, and for those, maybe there's some on the call that don't know what we're talking about. So just do like a really quick spiel. So the halo strategy is a form of audience research that essentially involves going and mining and scouring the internet for exact verbiage that people in your target audience are saying. So you're going to discussion forums, comment threads, social media groups, anywhere that your target market is talking about your industry, about your service, so that you can learn what the common pains and challenges are. So part of the halo strategy is organizing these things into a spreadsheet, which is, in fact, why don't I just pull this up here? Hold on, let me get my correct folder and let's look at the template. Based on Sabri Subi's work, his book Sell Like Crazy is available out there for free. I definitely highly recommend you guys get it if you haven't yet. Really powerful stuff. But in here, this is where you're able to start categorizing things that you're finding out there on the internet. So, and this is where you can see the different themes. So what are hopes and dreams, the positives that people are hoping to get by engaging with your product or service, pains and fears, barriers and uncertainties, unexpected insights that might pop up in your research. And there's a space for glossary. And then you can have different audience categories. And so, these and the templates start off as like newbie, intermediate, and advanced, which could determine like how new are they to the type of service or product that you're offering? How familiar with these things are they? It could also be you might have different audiences that you're working with. So one of your audiences might be, like right now with my coaching business, I have entrepreneurs that I work with, and very specific things that we're working on with them. I also have other people that were focused on relationship coaching and how they're trying to just improve the way that they are in their relationships and how they show up with people in the world. So there's definitely could be some crossover, but there's two different goals, two different things that I'm speaking to. So I would make two different audiences for that and break that up. And so you're literally going to these places and you are copy and pasting the exact words that people are using and putting it into your spreadsheet. And this, as this fills up, a couple things start to happen. Number one, you're going to start to see patterns. You're going to start to see what are the things that are coming up over and over, the same challenges that people are facing. Those patterns you need to make sure you include in your marketing and you speak to these things. The other thing that you're going to have is a whole bunch of messaging ideas. And this is stuff that AI cannot do. This is where, you're trying to use that exact language that people are using so that you can speak back to them. You can speak back to what's going on in their head and the challenges that they're using in their own words. So it becomes a really, really powerful strategy that I look at as definitely like the foundation of copywriting, as doing this research.
I suppose a quick thing in regard to AI and like the chat GPT and stuff is that they could fill out a lot of these blocks for you, right?
Maybe, I guess it's like it does take some discerning on like what belongs in here and what doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, can you ask it, what are people saying on this platform about this subject, and have it give you some intelligent grouping of what you need to look at? I don't know.
I'm sure you could. I haven't played around with it enough to know, but from what I've been seeing, I don't see why you couldn't do that. So I would, it's just because I have this natural like skepticism with it that I can't help. So I wonder how effective, and like, okay, are you missing things? Are you really grabbing the things that are going to really make a difference in this kind of research that I'll be able to use later on? Maybe it is, I don't know, but I'll have to do some playing around with it to come up with a definitive answer on that. So if this was like, if we wanted to focus this, first one on the tech, like, a really, really simple thing, get personal help with your tech challenges. But then, being able to speak with, what are those challenges? What are the things? And you are speaking to them already. And I would say as you break these up into like a couple different pages, then you can expand on some of these. You can have more bullet points speaking to more problems and solutions that they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. And like kind of my most recent blog post I did about wrecking my car tied into the financial stuff, right? And then having a budget. So that'd be a good thing to include there.
That'd be a great story. Storytelling is a really powerful strategy in copywriting. People resonate with stories. They're personal, people can relate to them. So if you told a story about like, getting blindsided with something, some big thing that, came out of nowhere, and if you didn't have a budget, how would you be able to navigate that? Those kinds of stories can be really powerful for people. Disillusioned with the Wall Street casino.
Taras, I thought that blog was really well written.
Thank you. It was definitely very personal.
What other thoughts are happening out there?
How are they finding you?
Right now, I don't know that they are. I don't really have anything that links to this at this point. So right now, I've kind of just been posting my stuff over to the AUTONOMY and kind of some discords, including Wealth Battle. And then I was thinking I should probably get some LinkedIn integration with this.
I can see a lot of people interested in this first one. Repeatedly doing mundane tasks on the computer. Let's set up an automation. Yeah, I don't think it would, if you separated these out, like, honestly, I don't think you would need a ton of content. Like, I don't think that you would need to have like, in my course, there's a big like 17-step sales page. I think for this, you could get away with like definitely like half the steps, and still get value across, as far as especially a starting point. Like, I think what you have here is like great, like starting the launch pad kind of stuff, like with these hooks. And so if you just start to build off these, and and again, like separate these out, build off of these hooks, I think you'll have some pretty, powerful copy.
My question would be where you're gonna promote this page, where you're gonna get the traffic to come from. Like, is it social media, your YouTube channel, Twitch? I think you're on Twitch, I think.
Yeah, I haven't done Twitch in a while, but that's an interesting question.
Like, to me, I don't know what I can automate. So just if you tell me the things, are you aware that you can automate this and that already like hooks me, because I don't know what I can automate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like if each of these had like a lead magnet, you can say, click on that and get a free, checklist or something like that.
Yeah, a little
that
report.
would be tremendous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then part of the lead magnet is like, oh, you don't know how to set all this stuff up? Well, contact me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's a really good point. Yeah, I didn't even think about that of like, yeah, I'm sure there's so much that could be automated that I don't even know I don't even know. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the top, like maybe you could make like a 3-minute video, like the top 5 things that most people don't know that they could automate.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then there's affiliate marketing abilities in there. If you're going to offer somebody else's solutions or products or services, that also can provide you some revenue. But you'd need to actually, start driving traffic to Rawad's point, whether it's social media or your Twitch or YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And you have content from your blog. Yeah. Sorry, Kara.
No, you're good. I was going to say, and to start off with, you've got a good, 500, 600 person audience of autonomy, ready to plug things in there, get feedback, that you can build on and before bringing it out to the rest of the world.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
You already do videos. You can quickly just show us on your screen what can be automated and how you do it, like a very simple one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And use it on the landing page as well, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Just gotta add some more flesh.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned that the IT and the crypto could go together. In my ignorance, how would that be? How do those two things go together?
How do those things go together? Well, I'd say that not everyone who's concerned about IT security is also in a crypto, but if you're in a crypto, you need to have good security.
Got it. That would be good stuff to communicate on that landing page.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that's interesting because, honestly, you could even, that's something that, if we're really going to go deep, could be segmented even more, where you have 2 versions of the same landing page, depending on if they're coming from it from more of an IT place or more of the crypto place.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on, so would adjust your, especially your introduction language on, who you're speaking to.
Very good.
Cool. I haven't been paying much attention to the chat. Nice job.
Yeah, Taras, and well done for getting to the stage where you're putting yourself out there. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely challenging to be like, hey, I'm gonna make this thing, and it's like, oh man, it really needs a lot more work, but let's put it out there anyway.
Well, you got to start.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Got some valuable feedback today, Taras, definitely, for sure. I've been inside agencies. I've sat in these meetings with businesses who come to us and pay us big dollars to do this for them, right? And you're doing this by yourself. So this is a great first stab at it for sure. And like to Kara's point, you have a lot of the copy right there. Flesh them out, and then you can buttonify it, so to speak. So it doesn't have to be so overwhelming, but definitely categorize out the different offerings. And because a consulting service would do that anyway, right? I mean, consulting, they offer so many different things. So just if you really want to get a good idea, pick an excellent consulting service and take a look at their structure, how they lay it out, who they talk to. It's always good to kind of see what the competition is doing, so to speak, even if they're, you know, not necessarily competition right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just add it because I've had a couple of these conversations in the past few days, this last week, in regard to the, you know, kind of the autonomy community is almost being like a small town, that you have this environment where, you know, like you can talk to the people and see what their problems are, and then address those problems and use that as kind of your template for, you know, building what you're building is, or building your offers to the community, but then beyond the community, you know. So this is kind of the test bed for what is beyond. But I do feel like we're at the stage that we're like a small town. You know, we've got plenty of problems and needs and all you know, of things, and then how does your expertise help those people, help the people based on what you know and what they need to know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a super qualified focus group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a trip that it's a town at this point.
I know it is. Amazing. And then we got these awesome workshops that Richard's creating. And so I could see like season 9 could be booming. Let's see. Everybody going to the workshop on Sunday?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Nice. Me too.
Yeah, I told a buddy about it. I haven't well, I think I shared it a little bit on social media, but I haven't shared it too much. So it'd be good to, you know, well, I only have one person on my list, and I'm pretty sure it's Van, but gotta get some people on that list and send out these offers.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to set some clear goals for the year. Definitely.
What time is the workshop?
It's the same time as the Q&A.
So it's 11 until 2 or 1?
It should be 3 hours. So the first hour is going to be lecture, and that'll be live streamed that, you know, people, you know, can attend for free. And then the paid workshop, which is of course free to us autonomy students, but then the 2-hour workshop.
Oh, so it ends at, okay.
But there's going to be multiple breakout rooms, so like we're all going to have the opportunity to converse with lots of people. And from my understanding, as of yesterday, there were something like 80 people, 87 people or something signed up for the workshop. So we're going to have plenty of people to be like involved with in the breakout rooms and stuff.
Well, we're nearing towards the end of today. Any final thoughts, questions, comments, concerns?
I do. You have this recording and you will post it on the forum, right? Okay, because my daughter wants to watch it too, so she can learn. Thank you.
Yeah, I've usually been posting the replays in the writing room. That's, I know, where I've done the last couple months.
Okay, writing room. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Kara, this was excellent. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for showing up and participating. This is always a lot of fun. There's a lot of great information in the chat. Is there any way to get a copy of the chat text?
Yeah, I'll when I post the replay, I'll post the text chat file as well with it.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. And just to be honest, copywriting is making more sense to me.
Yes.
Yes, I was completely lost. I was like, oh, I don't know, but now it's making more sense. You guys had great examples today for sure. Thank you.
Yay. Thanks, Olivia.
Very good. Thank you all.
Awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Everyone. All right. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Have a wonderful day.
You too.